welcome to our second edition of Getting to Know Your Neighbor's Business. And what we try to do is find out about businesses in Martin County and the surrounding area. A lot of businesses we hear about, but we don't necessarily know a lot about them. We want to find out more. And today's topic in business, although it's a nonprofit, is that sort of business exactly. It's the Martin County Alliance for Economic Growth. And today we're joined by Jessica Potts, who is the executive director of the Martin County Alliance for Economic Growth. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, let me ask you first. Jessica's, by the way, is new in the role, about a month in or so.
This is week six.
Week six, so she's getting there for sure. And we'll talk about what she's been up to in the first 6 weeks and what the next 6 weeks are in a moment and what the purpose of the Alliance is. But let's first find out a little bit about the history of the Alliance. Jessica, can you fill us in on when it started and what the thoughts were behind it?
So actually, Martin County was the last county in the state to get an economic development organization. So it was around the year 2010. So we've been around for about 12 years. And the purpose was like we need someone concentrating and working on keeping our businesses here, retaining our businesses, attracting new businesses, and encouraging those entrepreneurs to start a business and open a storefront. So we are here to help businesses, basically.
So we'll find out how they can help and what they're doing to help in a little bit as well. But how would you describe the vision, the growth? Obviously, that's a part of it. But when you think about the Martin County Alliance for Economic Growth and you wanted to explain it to somebody, how would you do that?
I would say that we are here to promote Martin County. We're here to attract new people to live here. We just want to encourage people and support Martin County on tax base. I mean, more people is more tax base for Martin County, and we want to share that Martin County is a great place to live, work, and play.
So you've been here 6 weeks
Yes.
in the role. Your background before?
I was working for Southern Indiana Development Commission, which is their community planning organization. They work in grants, so they work with a lot of federal grants through OCRA, which is the Office of Community and Rural Affairs.
So when you think about your responsibilities and what you do on a daily basis, kind of let us know what you're up to.
So it's a lot of meetings. It's a lot of meeting new people. People are like, "Oh, Martin County. What's economic development in Martin County?" You still have so many regional partners, which is huge because we can pull them in as resources. But I'm on a lot of Zoom meetings. We're currently working on an ag strategy, which includes 14 counties in southern Indiana. Radius is working with a consultant, and we're talking to farmers. So right now, I've been getting surveys out to our farmers. I'm doing some site visits, just learning from our farmers because there's supply chain issues going on post-pandemic. So I'm learning like what they're having issues getting, and I'm learning like what their workforce development needs are. That's another thing that the Alliance can help with. I mean, workforce is an issue right now, but we can also be a resource to help get the training to Martin County and bring resources to Martin County to help with workforce training.
Well, when you talk about not just workforce, but you're talking about businesses, and that encompasses a lot of things. As you said, it's attracting new business, it's keeping
retaining
business,
what we have,
retaining business. What type of tools do you have? What type of strategies do you have to help with that?
So basically, it's a lot of communication. We need to know what businesses need. We need to know what they're struggling with. It's big on communication, but we can also bring resources in. Like on October 3rd, we're going to have Indiana Small Business Development Center. They're coming down from their Bloomington office, and they're setting up right here in the Learning Center. And they're going to offer free resources. They can help with business planning. They can help with if you have an idea and you're wanting to expand, what does that look like? What do I need to do? What are my next steps? So they can help with so many things. And it's a free service.
Yeah, so what audience are you looking to come to that? Obviously, business owners.
Entrepreneurs
there you
even.
go.
Absolutely, entrepreneurs. That they're wanting to get a startup and they're wanting to know, or they have an idea and they want to know how they think it would go over here in Martin County. I was talking to the people at ISBDC and they were saying, "Oh, we can do like traffic counts in front of a building where they want to set up." So they would know how many businesses or how many vehicles drive by that business every day.
So if I'm a business and I think about, let's say I'm outside, but I'm thinking about coming to Martin County. What do you do to help them understand the benefits of our county as a business?
I share the resources we offer. I share, obviously, the buildings we have available for them to start their businesses in. We just talk. I mean, I need to know what they need. A conversation is different for everything.
Yeah. Now, as far as businesses are concerned, I think we can understand that. But is the focus more on business than tourism? Is it 50-50? How would you describe that?
It's Martin County. I mean,
Yeah.
people are always like, we don't have a ton of manufacturing, which we don't, but look how beautiful our
Yeah.
county is. So we could definitely focus on tourism here, and
Hmm.
tourism can attract people. You think of Lark's Ranch, it brings, I was talking to the Lark boys the other day, it brings around 35,000 people in those 6 to 8 weeks that they're open. So we have 35,000 people coming to Martin County. And how are we profiting as a county? Like, how are we working together? Like, how are businesses benefiting from them coming to our county?
Hmm.
If they're not eating at Lark's Ranch, are they eating at restaurants in town? Are they
Right.
eating at restaurants in Shoals? So it's a huge benefit. And I think of the Catfish Festival, the Summerfest,
Hmm.
and it's quality of place too. It's tourism. It's all about quality of place. It's
You
how
know,
you get people here.
you mentioned Lark Ranch, and I was thinking about that the other day. It brings in so many people again that we don't even realize it,
No,
because it's probably utilized more outside of Martin
it
County
is.
than it is inside Martin County. But Lark Ranch, for a 3-month period of time, brings a lot of people
It
in.
does. It's on our fall bucket list. My kids are the perfect
Yeah,
age, so it's
yeah.
on our fall bucket list every fall. But yeah, you go there and you're walking, you're walking up to the gate to get in, and you look at the license plates, and they're from Illinois, they're from Kentucky,
Hmm.
they're from different counties in Indiana. I mean, it's outside people coming in.
Let's talk about other gyms in Martin County in regards to tourism. And I think you probably have to start with West Boggs Park.
It's huge.
I mean, tell me the impact of West Boggs Park to people that come in to see Martin County.
Oh, absolutely. So it's always been one of the best fishing holes in southern Indiana. I mean, the lake is beautiful. It's fully stocked. And the crazy thing is, since the pandemic, the crowd that has came to West Boggs Park has tripled. Just from 2020, they have over $300,000 in revenue just in camping alone, and they
Yeah.
have 300 campsites. And I mean, you see all the time on Facebook. It's a great place where you learn everything, right? You
Right.
see on Facebook all the time that, oh, campsites are full, or
Yeah.
people are sharing that they can't camp this weekend, so they're letting you know that they have an opening because they're fully booked. I mean, you have to book a year ahead of time.
I was actually told there are areas out there where you have to book 2 years ahead of
Is it
time, and
crazy?
that just doesn't happen.
No, no.
And the scenery at West Boggs Park, I'll find myself on mornings sometime just. I'm not a photographer at all. All I have is my cell phone,
Right.
but I just love to go and take pictures out at West Boggs. There's such beautiful scenery.
It
Of course,
really
there's
is.
boating,
It really is.
and what's a really welcome sight is maybe on a weekend when people are starting to come in Friday, and you're heading north on 231 there, and you see that trail of lines of
And the
campers.
stopping, yes, the
Yeah,
stopping and waiting for the camper
yeah.
to turn into the
That,
park.
that might be frustrating for people behind those, but for someone like you, that's music to
It's
your ears.
yes, yeah. People are coming here. When they're here, they're spending money. I mean, they're spending money in our county, in our
Mhm.
communities.
Well, let's talk about Hindoston. Hindoston Falls. When I was young, when my parents were young, it was such a romantic site. You just go out there, you have picnics. That's where you had Labor Days, Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
You spend it at Hindoston Falls, and there for a period of time, I think that it went by the wayside, really wasn't taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
but now it is again. And the beauty of Hindoston Falls is something to behold, but it's a little out of the way. So how do you market that?
It's one of those things. The last 6 weeks, I'm sitting with other economic development leaders in their counties, and I'm hearing all this great things that they've got going on. And I'm like, okay, we're small. We're getting there. I mean, nothing's bad about that. We're getting there. Then I think about Hindoston Days, and I think about how huge it was last year. And we put the flyer out. I was a part of the committee that's organizing it. So I've been fortunate to get the inside scoop on the planning of how this is all coming about and bringing Hindoston Days back. And last year was the first year for it. It rained,
Yep.
and it was still
Still a
great.
good
It was still a
crowd.
great
Yep.
turnout. People were out there in their umbrellas
Mhm.
and rain boots walking. I mean, they sold out of beans and cornbread before noon. I mean,
Beans and cornbread.
on an open fire. I mean,
On an open
it's
fire.
huge. I mean, it's huge. This year they're doubling up the beans, and the last I heard they had over 30 vendors. But it's one of those things that it's so beautiful that I feel like it promotes itself. People know that Hindoston Falls is here.
Yeah, that's coming up, I think, the first
October
Saturday in
1st.
October. Yeah, the
Yes, 10
very
to
first
4.
of October. We hope for better weather, but regardless, it's just a sight to behold. I know that they're having a lot of activities. Um, Jessica, for people who haven't been to Hindoston Falls, Flat Rock is a very unique
It is.
structure, I guess. There's a whole history behind that,
A
but
community once there.
it
Yeah.
was a thriving community at one time. And if you go on the rock when it's dry, you can see where those large wooden legs were, I guess,
Mhm.
that were there. It's amazing. I was just out there the other day walking it with my father, and there was another couple there, and I asked them, are you from here?
But
No, they
they
were
weren't. But
from
they weren't.
Mooresville. They were
Yes.
from Mooresville, Indiana. They just happened to see. I'm sure they were nature adventurists,
Mhm.
and they thought that was very interesting. So if you haven't seen Flat Rock or the Falls, you got to catch it on the right day. It hasn't rained that much, so
It's still there.
it's still there. But once it rains, it goes under for a few days. But Flat Rock is a unique structure. But Hindoston Falls, I do think that it gets a lot more people there than what we realize. But is there really any way to even measure that? How many people come in to see the
No,
falls?
I don't. We need to figure out a
Yeah.
way because that would be it would be very interesting
Hmm.
because the hype is going on right now about Henderson Days. So I drove out
Hmm.
there the other night on a Wednesday evening with my kids and we were just walking around the Flat Rock as well. And it's like people are out there walking their dogs. There was a
Yeah.
kid. There was two kids throwing a football back and forth.
Hmm.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's mowed down and it's a nice area.
Yeah.
People definitely use it, but it is interesting to know where the people are from that are coming and visiting it.
And they keep it very well maintained.
Yes.
So Hindoston Day is coming up October 1. What are some of the other hidden gems or not so hidden gems that you promote for our county?
The Martin County State Forest. I was visiting Josh the other day. He's the park manager, and I was talking about how wonderful the place is. I mean, sometimes we talk about it takes away from our tax base, which it does, but we can also profit off of that. It could bring people in as well. So we were talking about how awesome would it be if we had cabins out there to rent.
Hmm.
It's interesting because I was eating at Los Bravos a few weeks ago, and there was a class reunion had just ended for the class of '81, and one of the ladies sitting at the table motioned for me to come over, and she said, "Hey, Jessica, when we're planning all these things for counties, we need to plan places for people to stay when they come home for
Hmm.
their class
Yeah.
reunions. Because if you don't have family here anymore,
Right.
or you don't have anywhere to stay." And I'm like, how cool would like a bed and breakfast be, or
Hmm.
or an Airbnb? People say an Airbnb in Martin County, but
Hmm.
I think of it. I mean, it's a possibility.
Well, I think it makes perfect
It
sense.
does.
I
It's
mean, your Airbnbs, you like to be somewhere where it's relaxing, kind of
scenic,
remote, scenic.
absolutely,
Absolutely. This is
absolutely.
the perfect place. So if you're thinking about it, think harder.
Yes, exactly. There's an entrepreneur
Yeah.
idea.
But that brings up a housing shortage
Hmm.
in Martin County. What is the Alliance doing? What can the Alliance do to help that situation?
We are working on housing. I mean, it's a need in the entire state. We just encourage builders. Like, there's a new home going up on
Hmm.
North Lion
Hmm.
Street, which I think is exciting. It's a spec home. I stopped in the other day just to stop in and say hi and talk to the contractor, and he's very much interested in doing that more in Lagodi. And people are interested in Lagodi. We just need the land.
Hmm.
So I think just finding the land. It's all about timing. Economic development doesn't happen overnight, but we are working on it. It's communication. We need to find out available land. Infrastructure is always going to be an issue on getting it there.
Another major attraction for families to come in would be schools, and our schools are top rate.
They are. Though the things that both schools are working on. I mean, like you've got Lion Manufacturing. I had a talk with Chris earlier this week, and just on how that is going and what those kids are doing in there is amazing. And then I had a visit with Josh Mollis a few weeks ago over at Shoals, and there's kids in elementary school that are working on 3D printers over there as
Yeah.
well. I'm like, these kids are too young to be
Oh
working
yeah.
on this.
Yeah.
They're showing me, like, they're walking me around this classroom showing me things that they've designed and done, and it's amazing. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't feel like I'm that old, but the opportunities these kids have,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm a little envious. It's
Well,
awesome.
I've always heard about a 3D printer, but I had no idea what it was
Oh,
until I went to see Lion Manufacturing
yes.
and operate. And it's just so cool that these kids get the opportunities that maybe we didn't get
No, absolutely.
as kids. As far as other things that you're doing that's in the plans over the next few weeks, tell me about some of those.
It's more meetings. It's getting to know people. It's meeting more resources to bring in. I've talked to so many people from art councils to IEDC, which is another regional partner. I talk to Radius often, ROI on housing initiatives. It's just getting to know each other. It's all about networking, communicating, and bringing people and bringing resources to the county and figuring out how we can leverage off of those resources.
So anything else that you'd like to tell people that maybe we haven't talked about that either going on or thoughts that you've had or what you'd like to see or encourage people to get involved?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, we are a beautiful county and we often say that we're small and there's not a lot of funding here and I feel like it's been used as an excuse. But if we work together, I think just small momentum will make huge things happen. I mean, work with what we have here. It's a beautiful county. I can't say that enough. I mean, I say that all the
Mhm.
time, but if we have the help and the volunteers, we just need to get a task force. I don't know if that task force is called Martin County on a Mission or what
Mhm.
it's called, but we just need to get people involved and get things going.
Well, how exciting is it today when you see some of the young people involved in the community, the call group, the farmers
Yes,
market that you're
yes,
heavily
it's
involved
growing
with?
all the
And
time.
those are things that people see as they drive through town.
Yes,
The square now with it's just beautiful, particularly when you have the flags out like we did on
yes,
Labor Day.
yes,
Uh, those things where people go through town and they think, boy, that's just a nice town.
hmm
That may be all they see.
and it's people working together to get those things
It
down. That's the
absolutely is.
community
Yeah,
challenge. That's the class
yeah.
of 1970,
That's
getting
right.
together and
Yeah,
putting that idea together.
yeah.
And
Well, Jessica, thank you so much.
yeah,
We wish you good luck
thank
on your
you.
role because as your role succeeds, our life succeeds.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate it very much. Thank you,
Thank
Jessica.
you. Thank you.
That's Jessica Potts, and that's our second edition of Getting to Know Your Neighbor's Business. By the way, we'll talk to Jessica a little bit more in a moment, but not on video. It'll be for the radio. Jessica will be our very first guest on Getting in the Know with Greg Bateman on WRZR that airs Sunday mornings at 8 o'clock. So we hope you enjoy whatever we put out there. But this is Getting to Know Your Neighbor's Business. And today, Jessica Potts. Thank you so much for watching.